Hi everyone, welcome to 𝗖𝗵𝗵 Sutra. Today we are discussing the cardiovascular system and bloodstream infections. In CVS and bloodstream infection, this is our second class, and in the first class, which was our introductory class, I told you the sequence in which we are planning to go by, right? But my dear friends, it is a moment of immense pride and pleasure for all of us to tell you that we are world's best faculty and world's first faculty to start with the microbiology lectures in a systemic manner. We are studying, we are discussing, we are prepared for you the microbiology in a systemic manner. We'll go system wise, right? So we are hence starting with system. Which system? CVS and blood. Okay. So see here, infective endocarditis. What is infective endocarditis? As the word tells you, endocarditis. Itis means inflammation. It is the inflammation of the endocardium, okay, that is the innermost layer of the heart. So please remember, this is the meaning of word infective endocarditis, whereas microbiologically it is the microbial invasion in the mural endocardium or the heart wall. Okay. So the heart is made up of three layers. The innermost layer is called as endocardium, which itself forms the valves. So microbial invasion of the heart walls or the mural endocardium is called as infective endocarditis. It is characterized by some vegetations which are friable, just like soil, okay, just like what? Just like soil. This vegetation includes fibrin, platelets, inflammatory cells, bacteria which are trapped inside it. So this vegetation includes fibrin threads, just like this, the platelets inside, some inflammatory cells which are going to be there, and of course the bacteria, B for bacteria, right? So naturally bacteria, in order to kill the bacteria, the inflammatory cells are going to come, and the fight includes a lot of bloodshed. So you can remember platelets, and then to recovery we have fibrin. What are the different types of endocarditis? So please remember, there are acute endocarditis, subacute endocarditis. So these both are the types of endocarditis. Okay. So types of endocarditis: acute endocarditis and subacute endocarditis. In acute endocarditis, remember, as the name suggests, acute, that means it is faster than the subacute, and subacute is slower. Okay. So I think it is pretty clear to you that it is going to be faster. Acute one is faster, whereas subacute one is the slower one. Remember, acute, it is faster, it is very fast to develop. So there is no need of any predisposing factor in acute endocarditis, whereas in subacute it requires predisposing factors. Because it requires predisposing factors, that's why subacute is slower to develop. Okay, because firstly the exposure to factor will come, then the disease will come, whereas in acute it need not have any prerequisite factors, so it develops suddenly. The acute one, the etiology is going to be Staph aureus. The etiology is Staph aureus, A for aureus, A for acute. So Staph aureus is responsible for acute infective endocarditis. Because it is very fast, you don't have enough time to cure this. That's why the mortality is very high. And remember, Staph aureus, my pediatric faculty, I'll take her name, sorry, I'll not take her name. She used to tell us that, you know, the major source of infection in hospitals is your hand, because Staph aureus is the one who grows over here. Okay. So Staph aureus is coming from where? Your hands, hospital acquired. Okay. So Staph aureus, hospital acquired. But remember, lot of people have infective endocarditis, but the deaths are very less. Why? Because the Staph aureus, the grievous one, is less common. That's why the deaths are less. Although people have infective endocarditis, but very less chances of Staph aureus. That's why the deaths are less common. That's why we say that acute infective endocarditis is less common. Whereas in subacute, it is the Viridans group of Streptococcus. Okay, subacute is Viridans group of Streptococcus. It requires few months. It is slower. The treatment, remember, subacute is curable. Acute is not. Subacute is curable. Okay, because acute is hospital acquired, subacute is community acquired. So, C for curable, C for community acquired, and C for it is more common. Okay, so remember, it is curable, it is community acquired, and the most important part, it is more common. Okay. Coming on to pathogenesis of infective endocarditis, like how infective endocarditis is happening. First of all, in infective endocarditis, especially in subacute one, we'll discuss subacute in great details because the things which are most common, subacute is more common, so we have to focus on them. So remember, the predisposing factors first of all will come into play, just like IV catheters. So IV catheters we are using, IV cannulas we are using, okay, and regurgitation like aortic regurgitation and mitral regurgitation. So what happens is, because of this regurgitation which is happening, there will be, the wall becomes thin, the wall becomes thin, and the organisms stays there for longer time. And because the organism stays there for longer time, it causes invasion and leading to infective endocarditis. So first of all, the predisposing factor that leads to entry of the organism. Secondly, there will be endothelial injury. Okay. So first is the predisposing factors. Second can be endothelial injury. So if the endothelium is damaged, right, just like turbulent blood flow can be there. Okay, so the turbulent blood flow that leads to what? That leads to the damage of the endothelium. Now that the endothelium is injured, okay, there will be a lot of bacteria coming inside, although will be entrapped by platelets and fibrin deposition, but a lot of bacteria is coming inside. Okay, endothelium can be injured just like IV drug abusers. Okay, it leads to, okay, just like that. So leave even IV drug abusers, because IV drug abusers we have discussed the predisposing factors above, okay, and this is one of those factors only, sorry, okay. So the endothelial injury because of turbulent blood flow, my dear friend, it causes NBTE, that is non-bacterial thrombotic endocarditis, thrombus formation, okay, because obviously if there is a this is a blood vessel for example, and if there is a, just a second, and if there is a endothelial damage that leads to the deposition of platelets, that leads to the deposition of fibrin material, this leads to what? Thrombus formation. So this is non-bacterial thrombotic endocarditis. Then it leads to colonization of bacteria, then the vegetations are going to grow and they are going to metastasize to different places. So this is the CVM is the mnemonic. Okay. Coming on to clinical features. So one will be the cardiac features, the cardiac murmur. Okay. Depending upon the valves involved, you will hear different murmurs over there. Okay. What are the non-cardiac ones? So remember, Janeway lesions, oscillar nodes. A very hi-fi terminology, Janeway lesions, oscillar nodes. Okay. So what are Janeway lesions and what are oscillar nodes? Please understand, oscillar nodes are immunological reactions, painful nodules, whereas Janeway lesions are painless, erythematous lesions. Okay. So in the picture, although it's not very clear, but can you see this red area? So Janeway are just erythematous lesions, they are painless, whereas oscillars are immunological and painful. Okay, right? Janeway are painless, erythematous lesions. Okay, right? So you can remember like PO. In Hindi, PO means drink. So PO means P for painful, I for immunological, O for oscillar node. Okay. So these both are seen in infective endocarditis, whereas Janeway lesions, which are painless erythematous lesions. How will you confirm it? So obviously laboratory diagnosis is going to show the blood culture positive. What are the diagnostic criteria? Just give me a second. What is the diagnostic criteria? So remember, there are major criteria, there are minor criteria. The name itself is Duke's criteria, is itself a very, very important thing. Duke's criteria. Okay. So major criteria means either the blood culture is positive, or it is persistently positive, or in echocardiography you have the involvement, like the vegetations can be there, like abscess formation can be there, pus formation, okay, like some murmur is there. So you are confirmed that the heart has, the heart itself is showing you some things. That's the major criteria. And there is an organism called as 𝗲𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵, right? So single positive, either the culture of 𝗲𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵, or you have got IgG more than equal to 1:800. So please remember, the whole story for major criteria is dependent upon B, C, D and E. What does this mean? B for blood culture. So blood culture is either blood culture positive or persistently positive. C for 𝗲𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵, even 1, okay, in fact E, F, G. What is D? D means I am talking about dominant criteria or the major criteria. E, what is E? Echocardiography is going to show some things, okay. What is G? That is IgG, okay. So this is about the criteria, the Duke's criteria, major criteria. F has nothing, has no role, okay. F you can forget, okay. Coming on to minor criteria, okay. The mnemonic says for minor criteria 𝗖𝗵𝗵𝗆. One thing, okay. What is the criteria? Then I will discuss the mnemonic also. I for immunological phenomena, just like Osler node we have already discussed. And what is Roth spot? These are the spots in the retina. These are the spots in the retina, okay. M for some microbiological evidences, like the smear positive and all those things, microbiological evidences are there. P for predisposing factors like IV catheters, regurgitation. V for vascular phenomena, I have told you, Janeway lesions, some embolus, some hemorrhages, and fever, okay, and fever, which is also called as pyrexia. Fever is also called as what? It is also called as pyrexia, okay. So the mnemonic is I means I, am means am. Who am I? What is my name? PARV. So P and V. So I for immunological, M for microbiological, P for predisposing factor and pyrexia, V for vascular phenomena, okay. So these were the minor and the major criteria, and this marks the end of the very beautiful topic, that is infective endocarditis. Thank you so much, okay. But my dear friends, the story doesn't end here, because in order to write down infective endocarditis in even a better way, please watch our video number, I'll discuss in the description. But Staph aureus is something which you have to focus on, because it is responsible for causing the acute endocarditis, and Streptococcus is again important. Streptococcus viridans you have to watch in the detail when we will discuss about the Streptococcus, okay. So watch both these lectures for subacute endocarditis. So thank you so much for watching. Please comment down in the comment section if any doubts are there or you want to share the feedback. or you want to spread love, blessings, care and support for our channel, thank you so much.